Good morning, good morning. So you want to take your career to the next step, but what if you can't find the openings that you really want or need? All the jobs being advertised are not what you're looking for. And when there is something you just, when you apply for something, you just get silence back in return. How are you going to move forward now? This is James Foster and Careers Matter. So for the last 2 days, I've been running a series based on how to know. Sorry, I'll say that again. How do you plan a successful career? Good morning, Angela. And this is the part 3. So part 1 and part 2 looked at. Part 1 looked at what you do effectively, so the things that you do that you like to do, that you're good at doing, and that bring value. And part 2 looked at the niche and your audience, so the companies that are out there that might want what you can offer, and the people in those companies that might be the people that you need to contact or need to be in contact with. Today we're looking at part 3. So frustrating, isn't it? You've done all the preliminary work, but now you can't find the job you really want on the open market. So now you have to really use that information that you've been building up for the last couple of series to help you to take this to the next step. And you're going to have to move outside your comfort zone to do it. We know the what and the who, so now what we're really looking at is the how. Are you going to open up the opportunities? So how are you going to open up the opportunities that you're looking for with these people in these companies? So let's just sort of have a look at that in a bit more detail. How can you apply for a job that you're not seeing advertised? That's what I'm talking about. If you know what job you can do, you know what value you can bring, but the barrier or the hurdle that you have to get over is that at the front of everything is a process that is actually holding you back and preventing you from getting to the point that you really want to get to. That's the recruitment process. That's this active recruitment process. We all know, don't we, that if you apply for jobs, it's a hit or miss situation, mostly miss. And that, the jobs that you really want are not being advertised anyway. So if the job that you really want isn't being advertised, what can you do about it? How can you get around that situation? How can you get to a point where you actually can have a real positive chance to get to actually find the job that you really want at the company you really want to work for, and also at a salary that you deserve? Because the other thing with the active market is they tend to be depressed salaries. And the reason for that is, well, I can go into the reason for that another time. But the facts of the matter are that jobs on the active market, whilst they are trying to attract people in, they are not trying to move people from other companies, so they don't need to be set in such a way that they are there to attract people from other companies. They are hoping to find people on the active job market who are not going to be pushing the boundaries of the salaries. So that's the situation that you find yourself in. You've now got to make some assumptions. You've done some research. You know who your target audience is. You know what it is that you have to offer. And you now have to make some assumptions that the people that you've just identified are going to want somebody with your skills and experience. That's the assumption you're going to make. You're going to assume that they all have a job for you, for just you. And the market intelligence that you've maybe gathered along the way, as we were talking about yesterday, from the research that you've been doing, from the Google alerts that you've set, from the analysis that you've carried out through going through Facebook to some extent, but LinkedIn, through social media and other sources, that you're going to make some assumptions about what's going on in these organisations, and you're going to put together an email or a letter. And do you know what? Letters work. Letters work much more effectively than you can imagine. Here's a stat: over 80% of all letters are opened and read, whereas 20 to 30% of emails are ever opened. I'll say that again: over 80% of all letters are read. If you get think of it, if you get a letter come through these days, there's a lot of circulars coming through. We know there's a lot of circulars, and you recognise lots of circulars. So provided that you've done the letter right, nice handwritten address in a non-business format envelope that is clearly addressed to the individual it's going to, chances are they'll open it, and chances are they'll read it. So if you can put something in that letter that is going to grab their attention, they are going to be interested and they will take action on it. So what will grab their attention and what will get them to want to take action? That's the question. And that's where we go back to what we've done over the first day, which was where we found out what it is that we really want, what we can really do, where we can add value. And then on the second day, what the problems that we have to solve are, and we bring the two of those together. You have this problem, I have the solution, and that's what goes in that letter. Exactly how you do that, we can show you that either on our online training or if you come in for our consultancy. But that's the process that you do. You write a letter that is going to grab the attention and that is going to get the person on the other side interested in what you can do for them. And you're not writing this letter that says, in a way that says, you know what, if you've got a job, I want a job. You're writing this letter that says, if you've got a problem, I've got the solution. This is a proposal. This is not a job request. This is about solving problems and issues for potential clients, and look at it that way. You may end up being an employee, that's what you're hoping for, or maybe into some sort of a consultancy arrangement, but the message isn't I want to be your employee. The message is I have a solution that's going to solve your problem. So you have to work on what their problem is, exactly as you would with any consultancy type of a situation. What are the problems that you need to solve? What is the pain that is causing you? And how I have the solution that will take that pain away. As I've written it here, two questions that you need to answer, if you like. The first of those is to know what is keeping a person up at night. So that's the question is, what's keeping you up at night? The second question is, or the second point is, how can I help you to sleep? So what's keeping you up at night and how can I help you to sleep? And that's really what that goes into that letter. And if you can do that effectively, you will get people's attention and they will come back to you. Everybody? No. Not everybody's ready for you. Not everybody has that particular problem at that particular time. Let's look at it this way. And these are some general stats again. At any particular time, there is probably only 5 to 10% of your target audience that actually has a need for your skills or experience at any particular time. So that's why we're looking at getting to about 100 or so people in about 25 to 50 companies. 100 to 200 people is really the ratios that you're looking at, because you're looking to get 4 or 5 real opportunities out of that, and that sort of ratio will do it. The other thing is that if you send this sort of a message to people, they remember you. So even if there isn't anything going at that particular moment in time, they may well come back to you in a few weeks when the situation changes, because the situation is always dynamic and companies may not need somebody today, but that they exactly need next week because their circumstances have changed. Suddenly a project has come in, or maybe a project has started to fail and they need somebody to come in and solve that problem. Depends what the problem is, of course, that you're looking to solve for them, but it's about having the right message and getting that message across to the people that you're sending that message to in such a way that it really grabs their attention and makes them want to know more about you. And that is what we're going to do. That's what you're going to do. That's how you uncover the opportunities that you don't find on the active market. The active market, they're here and now. They're real jobs. They're a good proportion of real jobs. No, actually not all real jobs, but that's another matter. But they're real jobs. Yes, they are real jobs. And let me tell you that you still apply for those jobs, but you don't apply for them through the active route. You go behind the scenes. Who's the hiring manager for that particular job? Send them exactly the same letter. I see that you've got that you are looking for, or you don't even have to say acknowledge that there's a job there. I see that you have this particular problem that you've got to solve. This is how I've solved it in the past for other people that I've worked for. It's that sort of thing. But you now know that there actually is an opening there, and it will be effective. I promise you, it will be effective because the person that you're sending it to has a problem. You can solve that problem. They actually don't care about the recruitment process. All they really care about is getting the right person in to fix that problem. And quite often, they will tell you that the recruitment process gets in the way of them finding the right people. That they, line management, hiring managers constantly tell me when I speak to them that they don't find people that they need through recruitment. That they very often for weeks and months just get a succession of irrelevant CVs that are not fit for the job, and that they're frustrated as you are when you're applying for jobs and not getting selected for those jobs. So the frustration is two ways. The process is broken. It doesn't work. Bypass it, take it out of the equation, go straight to the person that needs you, and it will, and it is effective. That's it. That's as simple as that. You have the solution to a problem, and you simply have to take that solution to the person that has the problem. That's sales. That's what you're doing. This is a sales process. I don't want to colour this any other way. It is a sales process. You're not, if you look online at any time at the constant stream of recruitment advice, the constant stream of recruitment advice is how do you get a job in the recruitment industry, in the recruitment process. That's not what I'm talking about here. I am talking about how do you get a job that you want for a company that you want to work for and at a salary that you want to work for. The recruitment process is a numbers game, and you've got to be effective at it by creating the right content. Again, you've still got to have a really good CV to do active recruitment, and if you've got a really good CV, you're more likely to get pulled out of the hat. I can tell you how to work the active recruitment market quite effectively as well. However, what I'm talking about today is taking that entirely out of the equation. If you go to the mainstream advice, it's how do you get a job in the process. What I'm talking about is bin the process. Uncomfortable action? Yep. Take you out your comfort zone? Absolutely. It's not an easy thing to do. You are being ballsy. You're going up front with talking about the benefits that you're going to bring to an organisation. We don't like doing that, but get over it. Sign up in your own mind to the idea that you have something to offer that somebody else needs. Get on board with that idea and start believing in yourself, because then you really can make an impact on on your career and how you take your career to another level. Want to know more? As always, with this video, there will be a link later on, and that will allow you to sign up for a 20-minute free consultation where we can talk more about you and about what what your needs are and how we may be able to help you solve your problems and get you the job and the career that you really want and deserve. This is James Foster, and Careers Matter.